All right, let's dive into the gritty, cyberpunk world of Universos Fragmentados, because we need to talk about one name that sends a chill down your spine. Trix. She's not just a hunter, she's a force of nature. And her story? Well, it's a brutal tale of betrayal, a horrifying transformation, and a need for revenge that's colder than any blizzard.
The last drop of that blood would leak. This isn't just some cool tagline for the book. It's a promise. It's a vow that every single bit of pain she endured will be paid back in blood. It really sets the stage for a story that is as dark as it is impossible to put down.
So how do we first meet this angel of vengeance? We find her exactly where she belongs, alone. A ghost in a snowstorm, perched on a hill with nothing but a high-powered rifle for company. She's the predator, and down below, her prey has no idea what's coming. I mean, just look at this focus. She is perfectly still while a storm is raging around her. Her body is completely ignoring the crushing cold. And get this, her eyes, they're enhanced with nanites, projecting a holographic sight. It makes her and her weapon one single deadly machine. And her target, it's her own father. And he is blissfully unaware of the fury that's about to crash down on him.
But here's the thing. To really understand the hunter, you have to meet the girl she was forced to kill off. So we're going to have to rewind all the way back to a time before her heart turned to ice. Back when she was just a girl named Akalina, on her way to finally meet the father she had only ever dreamed about. The world she was about to step into? It was no ordinary family home. It was the absolute heart of the Vorovskoy Mir, a huge, incredibly powerful Russian criminal organization, and her father, Hidion, was its supreme leader, the Pakan, ruling from a fortress that was practically impenetrable. This brutal, sprawling empire, this was supposed to be her new home.
And make no mistake, this was not some small-time crew. Right at the very top, you have the Pakan, that's her dad. And under him, this incredibly complex web of power, you've got the cold administrators, the brutal security guys, the shadowy money managers, and all the street gangs that make the whole thing work. Hadain controlled every single piece of it. This was the kingdom she was promised.
And this was the lie that lured her in. Hedion spun this perfect tale of a loving father who just wanted his daughter back. He sold her a dream of family, of belonging. But the reality that was waiting for her inside that frozen fortress, it was a complete nightmare, designed just for her.
Because the family she was promised wasn't a family at all. It was a crucible, a forge. And in its flames, the girl named Akalina was deliberately, methodically burned away, leaving behind something harder, colder, and infinitely more deadly. Her transformation was so systematic, it was basically a masterclass in cruelty. First, he gives her these cold, impersonal lessons about the organization, not about family. Then, the absolute worst part. Hidion forces her to watch a video of her own mother being murdered by his top enforcer, Rurik. And when she screamed, full of grief and rage, that same man, Rurik, beat her until she was unconscious. Her spirit wasn't just broken, it was intentionally pulverized. And this is what was left. Akalina, the daughter who showed up so full of hope, was completely gone, and in her place stood Trix, a hunter who trusts nothing but her rifle, running purely on a betrayal so deep it snuffed out any flicker of love and replaced it with this burning, all-consuming need for revenge. Akalina died in that room. Trix was born from her ashes. And this is her. This is the woman who walked out of that fire. The scars, the ones you can see and the ones you can't, they all tell her story. This is the face of someone who has been to hell and is more than ready to drag others down there with her. This is Trix. Okay, so let's jump back to the present. We're back on that snowy hill. Now we know who she's hunting, and boy do we know why. Her targets, Hidion, her father, and Rurik, his monster. This isn't just a hit, it's justice. It's her reclaiming the soul they stole from her. Her plan is as cold and precise as she is. She uses advanced cloaking tech to basically become a ghost. She has a 5-minute window to scale the fortress walls. Another 5 minutes while an inside source disables security. 10 minutes. That's all she has to completely erase her past. Can you just imagine that moment? Standing right there, in front of the door to her father's office, the very heart of the empire that shattered her. Her heart must be pounding like a war drum. Every doubt, every bit of fear has to be crushed. For Trix, turning back isn't an option. It never, ever was. First up, Rurik. She doesn't just kill him, she dismantles him.
She disarms him, literally pins him to his own desk with her blade, and just watches the life drain out of him. This is all about taking back the power he stole from her when he beat her half to death. And then, Hadeon. The final showdown is just a storm of bullets and blades, but in the end, her rage wins out. This quote, screamed as she delivers that final fatal blow, is just pure, raw fury, the sound of a broken daughter finally getting her revenge. So, the deed is done. Hadeon and Rurik are dead. The snow outside is turning red, and in the massive cyberpunk world they used to control, a giant power vacuum has just opened up. The throne of the Vorovskoy Mayor is empty. But what happens next is something that no one, least of all Trix, could have ever seen coming.
Because the reward for all her vengeance is the single most bitter irony imaginable. After tearing down the king and his entire castle, Trix is about to find out she's just been handed the keys to the kingdom.
The Vorovskoy Mir reaches out to her, but they don't call her Pakan, they call her Matka. Now this title is loaded with meaning. It means mother, womb, queen bee. It's a title that has never, ever existed before in this deeply male-dominated organization. It signals a massive and probably bloody shift in power. And here it is, the final brutal twist. This was Hadeon's last move. In his will, he declared that whoever was strong enough to kill him would be his successor. He knew it would be her. His final act wasn't about love. It was this monstrous kind of respect. He forged her into a killer, specifically so she would be strong enough to rule just like him.
This is her final realization. Sitting there, in the very seat of power she fought so hard to destroy, she finally gets it. The throne, the title, the whole organization, they're just things. The real power, that unbreakable fire that he lit inside of her, that was always hers to control.
So we're left with this really haunting question. Trix got her revenge. She won. But by becoming the Matka of the same organization that destroyed her, has she actually found freedom? Or did she just trade one prison for a much fancier and infinitely lonelier cage?